Hey guys, George Mesa, Third Eye Edify podcast. And today I'd like to start by asking myself a question as opposed to you, the viewer. Hopefully, you can edify through my own edification here. The question that I asked myself recently that sparked this was something that I kind of been discussing with people that I'm close with, people that I've met through the show, and you, the viewer, through certain episodes over the past maybe, well, it's almost been 3 years, guys. Can you believe that? The question is, after COVID, which did a very, very good job, opposed to all the things it did bad, what it did a very good job was keeping most people afraid of leaving the house, afraid to go anywhere and do anything. Anything. Unless, of course, it was grocery stores and liquor stores. Not much else was open for the most part, not legally, right? So I've been asking myself, what are they going to do? What are they going to do to make sure we get back to that mindset? It's not going to be another virus. It's not going to be Russia bad guy. I don't see that, either of those things, as being the valid way for them to do this, because they do learn from their mistakes. And I say they in a very open ended way. Viewers of the show probably know what I mean. If it's your first time here, you probably know what I mean. What is it going to take? What have they done recently? What have they been doing? What has the news been doing to produce fear in all of us? I'm not going to use the word immigration because that's ridiculous. Neither of my parents were even born here. But they have been making it seem like every single public location can easily fall victim to a shooting, a bombing, some kind of takeover from a large unwanted group, in quotes, unwanted group. It's more hate and fear. And they do their best to produce fear and to create hate where it wasn't. Hate where you did not have any. What I noticed, what I thought was and noticed the most, and what was the most heartbreaking part of most of what happened approximately 5 years ago, is that friends, longtime friends, and lifelong family was broken up much more successfully than any vote for the president or whatever. Like that even matters. I've expressed my feeling about voting on this show several times. And I really think it comes right back to simply the title of my book, World War U. It is a fully holistic approach to getting you to hate thy neighbor as much as possible. And as my thumbnail suggests, they want you to have this image of some shadowy figure hiding in the background with a shotgun, rifle, handgun, knife, anything. And they make sure the headlines are clogged with these things. It's a very easy way to keep the fear alive. And now, as I've done many times on this show, please join me in offering a moment of silence. Why? Because these events almost always do actually happen, and people do actually die. Good, honest, completely unaware pawns in a disgusting game. Please join me for a moment of silence. And I appreciate that. Thankfully, I haven't known any victims of this. Although I did know somebody that lived in Las Vegas around the time of that one popular shooting at a Las Vegas concert. Wasn't there, but heard stories that did not line up with the narrative we were shown, of course. But no proof on my part. It's very easy to disprove these things. And that's why I think having a moment of silence is very important. People do die. And much like they're making it seem airplane flights from Boeing's are, it's kind of a little gamble, isn't it? Is it going to go well? Can I go to this event, whatever it may be, movie theater, farmer's market, who knows, church? Actually, speaking of church, I live in Kentucky, as most of you know now. I moved here from New York, and in a very humongous and popular city around here, Lexington, which I don't live in, but I'm near enough to it. There was a shooting at a church, and it made it made major headlines. And now, as usual, it isn't until it is. Suddenly it's local, suddenly it's nearby. But they framed the killer as, some kind of nationalist. I'm not even going to say for what side, doesn't matter. But that's what they always do. Because, of course, liking where you came from is a horrible thing to do. But it's just one more piece of the narrative, one more piece of somebody who isn't, slave to the flag, somebody who's not all in and who is not willing to die for values and morals that they may not even know about. But they're certainly on the other side of things in a very, terrorist kind of typical. Just picture when you say the word terrorist, right? If you're as old as I am, the word terrorist gives you a very particular image from a very particular type of culture, from a very particular type of religion, very particular area in the world. And that's what they've done here with this shooting that happened recently in Kentucky. It's all a very calculated and successful way to make sure that things keep happening a certain way. Not that they're not happening, but that they make sure the headline can read very similarly for all of them, so that suddenly there's an information overload, and whether you're analyzing or thinking about it or conspiratorially looking into it, because of course researching beyond Wikipedia is evil and illegal, right? They want to make sure that you are afraid to leave your house. Why? At the moment, one of the best features of this tactic for them is that you won't have a need to leave the house. You won't have a need for physical currency. How was Amazon advertised at first? You can buy a book in your underwear. Connect your bank account to some website. You can click, I want it tomorrow, and here it is. Why leave the house for anything that you can buy nearby to begin with, right? Of course, if you want to pick out the best apples at the supermarket and not just get the very first one thrown into the bin for you, then you do have to go to the supermarket, don't you? But people are beginning to get very, very, very comfortable with having things delivered. And as I discussed with my good friend Spiro, who's been a guest several times on this show, in our 2022 year in review, kind of sort of year in review, I personally brought up the fact that the roads are littered with delivery drivers who are not paying attention to the road. They're all driving way past the speed limit, phone in hand, face in phone. They walk into the restaurants, they push people aside, they run up to the counter. I've got a delivery. It's really starting to get quite irritating. I think most of you can agree with this. And whether you do it or not, there's a certain etiquette that's not handled well with the delivery drivers nowadays, I would say. And they really are, now the roads are more clogged than ever with people that are definitely on their phones. And it's just one of the many elements that makes that this culture of deliveries, a little souring overall. But remember the main point of this. They're managing to make people afraid to leave the house again. It's by design. There's plenty of other elements to it. There's the idea of a credit card because credit cards aren't doing so well either. People are using them less, thankfully. But this idea of buy now, pay later has pushed its way into the food delivery services, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and so on. Taco Bell tonight, buy now, pay later. 3 easy installments of $3.99. So we're all in now. We're all in. You don't own anything, and you will not be happy. But, of course, as long as you're on Facebook and Instagram, everything's exactly what they want you to see. So keep it in mind. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this with somebody you think needs to hear it. And let me know what you think. What other tactics are they going to use to keep us from leaving the house? And what are the benefits for them? Why do they want us to stay home so much? Why don't they want us outside? Could it be that the sun is a very healing thing and air is very important for us and that we don't get any? I'm starting to do aura tuning for people with tuning forks. It's very exciting for me. I'm willing to do this remotely as well. Speaking of not leaving the house, I mean, if you don't live near me, I can still do this for you over the phone even. So consider it. Hit me up. But I'm noticing that the tops of people's heads are really giving off a lot of heavy energy from people that aren't getting a lot of exposure to the outdoors. And that is another thing that is probably a big part of this. Keep you indoors. You will get sicker faster. And then it's time to get your Amazon doctor to help you over the video call, right? Telehealth. There's so many little things that can go into this. Very simple. Very simple, very devious, very effective. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear take over. It's not good for anything. And we already know they're stupid tricks. Stay happy. Get outside. Buy something with a dollar bill. Imagine that. Thanks a bunch, guys. The music miniseries will be continuing, so stay tuned for that. And can't wait. See you guys real soon.